Hey guys, this is Brad from Blue Nile Farms. Today we're going to take the chain harrow and redistribute manure that's in our turnout pastures as well as the grass pastures. Basically, I try to do this for sure every month if I can, but sometimes I don't get the opportunity to do it as often as I'd like. In this area here, we kind of work at these piles because this is where most of our horses get to the feeders. They'll go out in the pasture and graze, but a lot of times they'll come into the feeder area, and this is our winter turnout. So they're basically on about a foot of wood chips, and I like to work the wood chips and the manure together the best I can, and sometimes I remove the manure when it builds up a little bit thicker, mostly in the summer. It knocks down the flies, it knocks down the gnats. It's basically a better way of controlling what's going on in your fields as far as different parasites and so forth by working it in and breaking it down with the chain harrow. So in addition to that, it also increases your grazing area because a lot of the livestock like to kind of go to the bathroom in the same spot, and you're redistributing it out there and you're spreading it in your fields for a quicker breakdown. So come along with me today and I'll kind of give you a quick shot of the chain harrow in action and how we use it. And this is where the chain harrow shines, and it really does a nice job as far as breaking up manure. So this chain harrow that I'm using today is made by Wingfield Harrows, and they're out of Illinois, and it's a 20-footer. When I originally bought it, it was a 10, and I added on the wings, which made a big difference for me, especially working my hay fields, and it does speed up the process a lot, so I really like to have the extra width. I have a hydraulic top link that's on the tractor, and I use that to elevate the pitch, and I also have a quick attached plate there from Land Pride that I use, which makes it a lot easier to hook this thing up. So together everything works well. And what I like about having the hydraulic top link, especially if I got to take this on the road, that I can elevate and alter the back and the front really easy, and I can lift the back end really high. Because a lot of times when you're traveling, the chain will hang down a little bit and you don't want to be scraping the ground. And they sell these with wheels and carts too, but you know, I'm opting right where I'm at. I think this is a perfect setup for me. You know, I do like being bigger is better somewhat as far as getting speed done, but I really don't feel like investing a lot more than I've already invested. You know, a 20-foot chain harrow like this, about $5,000, and you know, if you get the 10-footers, probably like $2,500. So it's really a nice, cheap thing to utilize when it comes down to attachments, and there's a lot of uses you can use a chain harrow for. I mentioned that a couple on my videos on how we reseed hay, overseed it, and how we pull thatch out of hay fields and pastures. But this is another example of using it for manure. So let's get to it. So this is basically a before shot of some of the piles that are in this throwaway pasture that you can clearly see with the wood chips. And it's all around the feeder area. They're just everywhere. So we're going to basically run through here with the chain harrow, and it doesn't really matter the size of chain harrow that you do use for something like this, you know, whether you buy a small one for an ATV or you have a bigger one like I do. But no matter what you wind up doing, this is a good practice that you should do on a regular basis, especially during the heat of the summer, to control the gnats and the flies. And this is, you can do this both in your pastures and in your dry areas like this. So to get started, all you gotta do is drop down your hydraulics, get down so your front end's a little bit higher than your back, and then use the hydraulic top link to adjust and drop down on the back end. Just don't want to dig your front end too deep into the ground or it'll kind of flip you up. So you can figure out your settings, what works best. And as far as speed goes, it really doesn't matter. Obviously, the faster you go, the quicker, the more you're going to break up. But relatively, it's pretty simple. I mean, I've gone a lot faster, but you can see, and when we get in here on the wood chips, it really breaks it up really nice. And you can see the manure just getting caught up and just kind of spreading it out. And you go through the grass, all kinds of debris you can pick up. It definitely does a nice job leveling everything off. You know, the thing is, the horses, they go all over the place. So the best thing you can do is just keep harrowing away. Summertime, the worst thing is the flies and the gnats. And you know, hot weather, the best thing you could do is run out here and do this. That's why, and if I had a designated tractor that just did this, I probably would do this almost weekly, because it definitely would make a big difference depending on the amount of animals you have. The more the animals, the more you would do this. You know, for me, I could do it weekly without a doubt. No, the thing is, the chain harrow will never completely get rid of all the manure, but it will break it down enough where it'll break down with the weather, and that's kind of the game plan. You know, you get in the grasses, it just tears it all up. All right, so we went over it 3 times. Let's get a good look at this and just give you guys an idea how well it actually works. So here's getting off the tractor. This is right behind the chain harrow. And you can see some of it already getting broken down. And it spreads it out real well. And there was a lot of piles in here. But it's broken down enough that between the sun and the weather, and like I say, if you go over this on a regular basis, it's definitely redistributed and it's going to break down real well for you. So that just gives you kind of an idea of how that works. And you go out in the pasture, it does the same thing, just kind of drags it. Now I haven't done the whole thing yet, but as you saw, I was getting started, but it gives you an idea of a few trips around how well it works. You know, and again, the more you do it, the better. I try to grab it and drag it off into the grass and just keep redistributing, but it does a nice job. So this is a quick overall finish of what it looks like now that I did a grading. It does a really nice job, and it really spreads out that manure and leveled all the chips. So pretty happy with it, and that's some of the benefits of using the chain harrow. Not only does it have a leveling purpose, it also does a great job, comes down to breaking up the manure. Alright, so right now we're out chain harrow in the pasture. I went around the headlands and around once. You're going to do the same thing you would if you were reseeding a field. I like to have sharp turns and go back and forth. It creates that striped look. And you can kind of see the striped look already coming down here. So my suggestion is when you get down toward the end, slow down, lift up the whole thing. You know, I have 20 foot, so I got to make sure I don't swing too close to the fence. Cut it tight. Not going too crazy fast. Drop it. And then start it up again. That's the easiest thing you can do to keep you out of trouble. And you can see the chain harrow cut across the grass aggressively. When you start setting that manure, those will break it right up. And this pasture's pretty beat as is, but I just like to get rid of the manure that's in here. And that's really what it gets down to. Let it aggressively work. So I'm going to bring the chain harrow in, and I'm going to show you how well it works working leveling out this wood chip area. There's manure in here as well, but I just want you to see when you make circles, which is what I'll be doing versus going back and forth, how well this thing really levels an area out. And it can work also in the tilled field as well, just as well. So stay tuned, and we're going to show you how that's done here right now. So as you look that over, that's pretty good. Real quick, real easy, pretty good area, and knocked it out quick. Can't go wrong with that. We'll do this side over here real quick so you can see that as well. But it's basically the same thing. So here's the view of the chain harrow after it went around and really leveled everything out. Does a nice job, and you know, like I said, it covers an area quickly and really smooth things out where it's usable. So something that you easily can do, and again, has a lot of benefits. So I'm more than happy with what the results are. Hey guys, thanks for watching a video on the chain harrow. I believe it is a forgotten tool and a lot of people don't use it, but it's awesome for pastures. As far as tearing up the manure, if you got aggregate materials that are loose, you know, such as these wood chips that I use in my pastures, whether you're doing sand, even if you tilled up a field and you wanted to level things out real quick, chain harrow does a great job. You know, make circles. Don't always have to go back and forth. You'd be surprised how you move material around and really crown it out and make areas level. So it does a really nice job with that, and especially when you have a nice wide swath. You know, this thing is awesome for manure. You know, if you got cattle, horses, or any other livestock, especially if you got a large number of them, this is the best way to manage those manure piles and frees up a lot of pasture. You know, this is a great tool, and I also have a few other videos related to chain harrows. If you guys want to check out my playlist, you know, talk about overseeding and dethatching hay fields. This is also used for that too. And you probably can come up with other uses, but chain harrows are wonderful tools. They're cheap and they can do a lot for you. So with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.